And welcome to our market recap. So guys, today we're going to be looking at the USDZAR and we're just going to do a quick recap. Hey, you guys only focus on Nasdaq, so why are you on the USDZAR chart? Guys, remember that we need to monitor the dollar. We need to monitor the strength of the dollar to know where Nasdaq is going. They have an inversely proportional relationship, meaning that if the dollar is strong, Nasdaq will sell, and if the dollar is weak, Nasdaq will buy. That is why we always start our day by looking at the USDZAR chart. Let's first quickly explain the way we analyze, how we do this analysis, and all that. You need to take this on our screens to actually show us the aggressive moves or moves that really moves that with like serious moves. That is why we mark the zones or the levels below that moving average crossover. So basically we mark the move that caused that crossover. What do I mean by that? Look at this. Market came from here. We don't know if it's here or here. That's why we mark both of them. You can see is really trying to respect the second one over here, because this move over here caused a crossover, which was really which was this was when Nasdaq pushed to 19 rand 22 cents. Then when Nasdaq got to 19 rand 22 cents, or we can round that off and say when Nasdaq got to 19 rand 23 cents, you can see that it caused a crossover to the downside where it was coming back to this level. So somehow these levels actually attract each other. And if you even look at this one caused a crossover over here. That's why it was marked. And you can see how the market also did have inyaga nyaga at that level. So that is why we look at the USDZAR. Take note of is that after this FOMC release, rates a whooping 4.75 to 4.50. This is like 0.25 beats, and we can see overall it affected Nasdaq because Nasdaq was playing around 17 rand, 18 rand. You can see that it now even went up to 19 rand, meaning that this caused the US dollar to be strong. That is why from the 18th of December after the FOMC, Nasdaq has mostly been selling, and this week the same principle. I mean, the USD dollar index is the same principle. Mark this crossover over here, mark that level, and you remember this level over here caused this crossover. It's actually this one. You can see how the market is reacting from that level. So far we do know that from technical analysis, it seems like the USD index, even if you check here on M30, we are about to get a crossover over here. See, it's trying to give us a structure of a crossover. So we can see that the dollar is actually trying to gain strength. But we cannot jump into conclusions. This is when we now need to take the fundamentals into consideration. Now, what does this mean? Remember that if the dollar is strong, Nasdaq is going to sell. And you can see that Nasdaq is also trying to give us signs that it wants to sell. Now, guys, how did we see the signs? Actually, guys, this is why we didn't take this buy. This is why we did not take this long-term buy, because if you check, it did give us a crossover. But the USD was just too strong, so it didn't make sense to hold long-term buys. But as you can see, Nasdaq pushed through. It pushed through those buys, even though they were not straight movement, slow and all that, but it really pushed through. So normally we don't like taking this type of entries because it looks like a consolidation but to the upside. So what we normally do is we just scalp them. How do we scalp them? By using our entry criteria over here. What's our entry criteria? We always enter on the third candlestick. Three, you hold only this candlestick and you're out. See, 1, 2, 3, hold only that candlestick, exit before this one. See, kept doing this, it kept doing this, it kept doing this. Then the problem started when yesterday, I remember yesterday, it was a normal trading day. Go to Nasdaq. Hey, Nasdaq, I see that no, actually the dollar is strong, so I don't want to be in buys, but I'd rather be scalping you. Then we start 1, 2. Problem started here. Went into some loss. Because when you scalp, sometimes you tend to risk a lot because you know that it's just short-term movement. 3, but it was weak. So these were already signs. You should know already about the sentiment of the day, that the buys are not really strong. Even though you're scalping, you're doing it at your own risk. And then look, 1, 2, green. And that is when the Nasdaq 100 started pointing down towards a sell. Now guys, now that we've been expecting this sell, if the dollar stays at 1850 or it does not become even strong and all that, for the FOMC, because we really want the dollar to give us direction. How will the dollar give us direction? Guys, we are expecting some very important news at 3:30. Those are going to be the jobless claims. Now, how are the jobless claims going to affect the whole movement of Nasdaq? Well, let's start with the dollar. You need to remember that the jobless claims, it's like, for example, people claim every week that, this week I applied for this unemployment fund, what insurance. So someone just lost a job. Someone just lost a job. Someone just lost a job. And remember that the FED has 2 mandates. One, they have to create economic activity, they have to create jobs and all that. So if there are now more people that are unemployed, it means they're not doing a good job, and that tends to affect the what? The USD in general. So if the jobless claims over here are higher than expected, negative dollar. Yeah, negative. And it means Nasdaq has to buy, which is not really what right now we are seeing on the chart. Then if the jobless claims than expected, this, well, traders in our trading firm, so it makes it easier to break it down for them if it's in the chart. So if the jobless claims are higher than expected, this will be negative for the dollar. This means that they are actually expecting, let's say, I think I read on the report, they are expecting 220K people to be what? To be unemployed. So if it happens that the number is actually higher, that is bad, bro. That is bad. That's higher than what they expected. Of course, the dollar is on a sell. And if the jobless claims are lower than expected, then it's a strong dollar. Now, what are we seeing technically? One, we need now to analyze. You can see that market is respecting that level that we marked, the one that caused the crossover over there. And you can see that it's trying to cause another crossover to the upside, which means that the dollar might be trying to gain strength. So if this actually works in our favor, it might go higher. But if it doesn't, it's going to become weaker, and we know that we can start looking to buy Nasdaq. Reacting to that level over there, meaning that the forecast actually might be right. But we will wait and see. It's all for the day, and you can that also it wants to sell. So if Nasdaq is trying to push for these sells, it means that the dollar might be gaining some strength. But guys, we'll see. But this is how, guys, I just wanted you to view things. We can go away, let the markets play, and let's see, guys, what will happen.